Belina Show. I'm going with lunchtime. Lunchtime thanks to Rudy's Barbecue, the home of the green chili stew. Go for the moist brisket. Telling you, I'm a big fan of the pork loin. Hey, get your ribs, whatever works. That's kind of the point. If you love it and you see it at Rudy's Barbecue, just say yes. Lunchtime, I'm going to register someone before we hit 1 o'clock. I'll give you a heads up on that. For what? Oh, thank you for asking. So you can have a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That is thanks to Grahalski Sausage. We will, very shortly, Elko, Bucky. Elko, he spoke. Had a spring press conference media day. And we listened live at 1:30 here on the Louie Belina Show, presented by CC Electric. Kind of some things that caught my ear. Some of the things he said, some thoughts I kind of wanted to share. Get your thoughts on. Also, I got to listen in. We only have 2 teams left in the Greg McElroy title contender. I'm almost sad it's ending. I thought it's so incredible. I thought he's nothing short of fantastic. Big fan of his. So, our next to last listen in the title contender series. A big part of this hour, going to be doing some text message sweeps. 979 is the area code, 693-1150. 979-693-1150. You could text and light up the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Texas Mobile One Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. 979-693-1150. Text me your questions, comments, and opinion. What's on your mind on a Tuesday? Are you excited for Aggie baseball back in action tonight? Caden Sorrell, is he going to go bomb? Yard work, long gone? Yes or no? Are you... Okay, I think they're going to go 3-3 or better. I think they're going to go 2-0 this week. I know Aggie basketball's fallen. I have supreme confidence they'll take care of business this week, because the one thing they've done all year is avoid the bad loss, quad 3, quad 4. And this is bad team week. I know how down they are. I know how tired they are. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Are you with me? Yes or no? Life is simple. I have a text message. Start the hour, lunchtime, that said Duval in 7 Days in Utopia were pretty awesome too. We kind of mentioned we were in the lifestyles portion of the Louie Belina Show, just observing, recognizing the passing of Robert Duvall on Sunday. And he has so many, that's the key, so many incredible movies. Again, Chip, yesterday going up and down the hall, and Lonesome Dove for Chip is an all-timer. The Godfather of Western movies. You mentioned 7 Days in Utopia. For me, Godfather, Apocalypse Now, and Days of Thunder has a very special place in my heart. It's got high levels of unintentional comedy. It's so quotable. And it's just, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing, is just maybe the greatest line in cinematic history. So I could take those 3 movies alone for me. And so many incredible movies. And yesterday, all the people he worked with reaching out, sharing their stories, their love for him. A great loss indeed. A great loss. 95 years old. But thank you for that text message. It's from Ryan in College Station. Wait a minute. Is that Ryan Starr? Is he still texting me? I don't know, but thank you, Ryan. 979-693-1150. Let us go maroon and white, Elko and Bucky. Some of the things they said, some of the things that caught my attention. And with Mike Elko, we'll begin there. I think the number one thing, the new motto, credo, philosophical point of emphasis for the team, it was finished last year, and they went 11-1. They didn't have the November slide. A lot of people fixate they lost their last 2. Well, finish meant November, in which they lost 1 game total. They finished. December wasn't accounted for. Only 1 player had a struggle for those 2 games. The rest of the team, the defense was glorious and fantastic. But Elko said the next step, and I think the answer was in relation to Marcel Reed, but then later on, because this answer covered kind of 2 concepts, organizationally, the team, the program, and then Marcel Reed. And, quote, our highs were high enough to win the national championship. We had not the ability to be there all the time. That's where we came up short. We weren't able to hit those marks consistently all the time. And then he said, we need consistency and urgency. That's it. That's the fact. They were not a four-quarter team at any point in time. Help me, correct me, let me know if I'm wrong. They didn't have a four-quarter game, did they? There was not a four-quarter game where both sides of the ball played for 4 quarters. Not one game. And a lot of times the urgency part, you would see that it almost felt like they would sleepwalk and then a switch would go on, and that doesn't work. We're in 11-1, Lou. Well, their schedule's stepping up this year. They caught a break by what we thought was a brutal schedule. It wasn't. They got away with it. That's not how you're going to win a national championship. So I absolutely, we've had coaches here at A&M that talk about what they think, what they see, and what they believe. And their answers seem so generic, bland, or out of touch that it has frustrated me, where I'm like, well, that means nothing's going to change. That means, and at times, maybe they just don't want to say it. Maybe they feel like it's too pointed, or they'd be throwing a coach, player, or just something under the bus. So I'm feeling some different times when those coaches, I'm like, that's why they don't want to say it publicly. But no, that's never the case. You just have coaches who believe, let's change nothing because I know I'm right, and we're just going to keep banging our head in that wall until our head is bleeding to death, and nothing changes. Elko, finish recognizing the horrible November, urgency and consistency, recognizing what we all saw, not trying to blow smoke and treat everybody like an idiot. I don't know about you, but I actually enjoy the heck out of that. They never played a 4-quarter game, even at 11-1, because they didn't have to. Like you said, their highs were so high that 2 quarters of that offense with all those playmakers and the high-end talent was enough for the most part. So I find myself excited just by hearing a coach acknowledging what was obvious. Seriously, too. Most coaches don't. And it just pisses me off and frustrates me. So Mike Elko speaks that way plainly, too. Straightforwardness. So big fan of kind of that, just the base concept of what he had to say. And he was right. The high end of this team could have won a national championship if it had the consistency. And they have to play with urgency. The whole thing of what a lot of times coming out of the half or the first quarter, the whole urgency. Love it. I'll move on. I don't want to beat it to death, but I already did. I'll move on. But man, Lou got a little fired up. He was asked about promoting from within versus making outside hires. His answer went, the right answer is what you believe in and what you believe is right for the program. And we tried to do that with every decision we made. That wasn't an answer. I mean, of course he tried to do it with every decision he made. But the odd part is he hires, every hire he makes is someone he knows. How does he not know with people he doesn't know, so he only can hire people he knows? I just would have liked a little more depth in the answer, and I just gave him credit for all the depth in his other answers. The right answer is what you believe in and what you believe is right for the program, and we tried to do that with every decision we made. And I mean, of course he would try and make the right decision with every decision he made, but only hiring people he knows, does it bring in fresh ideas, or does he just want to achieve the ultimate perfection with the ideas he believes in, so he brings in people that believe in the same thing he does? So, but now that creates this ultimate consistency in what he's trying to accomplish. And everything he's doing is still so young, we have not seen the final version of what he wants. And he's already went 11-1 and made the college football playoff and hosted. So I see a logic in sticking with what you know. But you do realize, I mean, he's only hired people he's worked with and he has history with. Nothing's, been brought in that's kind of fresh. Oh, no. I know it's not every single hire. Don't get me wrong. But he is hiring from within and people he knows, which are the people he could trust the most. And if you have trust within the staff, that creates a certain level too. He went on, and this one was really powerful to me. Mike Elko was asked about pro players trying to come back to college basketball. Yes, they asked him about basketball at a football press conference, but still, quote, slippery slope might be the understatement of a lifetime. From a football perspective, it would be really cool if we got back to being an amateur sport and college athletics being what college athletics are. It's not a big deal. That's called, but for me, that was almost an amen. Can I get a witness? It would be really cool if we got back to being an amateur sport and college athletics being what college athletics are. I know for me, at this point, the concept of amateur and college has changed. Here's the problem. We have no definition of amateur, pro, semi-pro, semi-amateur. And could anyone tell me what college athletics actually means right now? I think if you sat down with every college coach, athletic director, conference commissioner, chancellor, AD president, we need definitions. We need a rule book because there's no rule book even. And I think alone we just need a rule book because there is zero rules. Every rule is being made up on the fly. Every rule gets changed within 6 to 12 months. And every rule will be challenged in court. And generally the courts have zero understanding of athletics. So people with zero sports understanding, knowledge, or background are determining athletics. And it is as screwed up as you've ever seen in your lifetime. It doesn't mean everything's wrong, everything's evil, everything's broken. It's just as screwed up. And I think everyone involved with college athletics would love to just have a rule book that's actually a rule book. Not just, here's how it is till the next court case. But what does amateur sport even mean? Does the word amateur even real? Can it be when you're paying them? Like, by definition, amateur, dead, but what does college athletics even mean, right? Mike Elko was asked about Wilkin Formby, the Alabama tackle, and he clarified that, quote, I think he's right tackle. I think he's an elite right tackle. If you watch him block the elite edges in this league, he does it really, really well. So clarified that for people. A couple other things. He was asked about Marcel Reed, a handful of times. Last offseason, it was about finishing and making sure that we finish the right way. This year, it's more about consistency and urgency. That applies to Marcel. There were times where he played quarterback at an elite level, and there were times where he didn't. Truth. Straightforward again. Simple. Any other things from Mike Elko? Again, it was awesome. He spoke for pretty much 30 minutes exactly. And you talk about a welcome back, cover everything, cover all your bases. It was great to get to listen to him again. Oh, one last thing. He was asked again about the combine invites and, the statement he made about having, at least 10 in all. And he was asked about 13. Quote, we talk about that being the mark for this program and needing to have more NFL guys. To get the most guys in the country invited to the combine and the most we've had in forever, those are markers. And he pointed out something I hadn't heard yet, but this 13 to have more Aggies. No. He pointed out that A&M projects, Coach Elko did yesterday, to have more Aggies selected in the draft in any year for A&M since 1971. And basically for this coaching staff, this is the ultimate kind of just getting started. A&M projects to have more Aggies selected in this draft, in the draft period, in any year since 1971. And this should become consistent. And if you're going to be a top 10 program, a perennial college football playoff team, that's how you're going to have to do. Combine invite's cool, but you're going to have this X number drafted every year, not just once every 4, once every 5. And I don't know why Elko wouldn't. He's got this recruiting staff. They have their own projection for players that fit their system. It appears they have that pretty much on lock, right? He did. They hit those first portals. Now it's round 2. And this is how you back up. You show, you're going to show if this is who you are. You're establishing your resume. I have no reason to doubt him and his staff and their system. Do you? I need a quick timeout, come back, couple of text messages, more from Elko. We'll move on to what Bucky had to say last night, too. This is the Louie Belina Show. Lunchtime, thanks to Rudy's Barbecue on the Zone.
Spend your late nights with Sports Center all night from ESPN Radio here on the Zone.
The Louie Belina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. We're sticking with Tuesday. Low cost, full service, best of all local. That is Schwab. Go visit Mark Sim right here in College Station. He is that local. When I say best of all local, eat here, sleep here, goes to the games too. That is Mark Sim. And how do you visit him? Well, online, schwab.com/College Station. Charles Schwab and Company Incorporated, member SIPC. Got a text message. Roy May, what's up, brother? Still on board with Bucky. He's done an incredible job of the ragtag last-minute Christmas Eve shopping roster. Beat the hell out of Ole Miss. I am too. I do want to be clear. Look, I have been called negative before. I've been called a hater before. I've been called a lot of things before. But I don't think I'm any of those. I know I'm critical. I have a critical eye, and I'm sorry if I don't just hive mind things, and, my bad there. But I'm on board with Bucky. I haven't jumped off board. I haven't even tried to find the door and the exit. I mean, I'm on board with Bucky. There's just realities to all this. And yeah, I do like that ragtag last minute Christmas Eve shopping roster. That's not too far off. I mean, I just had this vision. Like, I don't know about you, but I want Aggie sports to be great. Unfortunately, generally speaking, and it's not an Aggie athletics thing, most teams are pretty mid. 500 is a way of life for most teams. So when there's a chance for greatness, and A&M seems to go through a lot of coaches in my lifetime because I've been a fan since fall of 87, I just want, what is the definition of great? On the Louie Belina Show, when we talk about Aggie sports, I'm always talking about the standard of champions, not how to go to a bowl, how to sneak in as the 64th team. So that's why sometimes it comes off as critical, maybe even to you overly critical, because I'm not using garbage standards. So if you could take a ragtag last-minute Christmas Eve shopping roster and take them to the NCAA tournament in year 1, that's great. That's not some min. And Bucky has them well on their way, but it's being threatened now. If you lose to Ole Miss and or Oklahoma and or LSU, you're endangering all the greatness that you already did. That did happen. That's a fact. And that would be a shame. If they missed the NCAA tournament this year, it doesn't mean Bucky ball is doomed and Bucky's bad. None of that's true, but they've put themselves in position. As of right now, they're not even bubbly. They're not last 4 in or last 4 buys. I just want to see Elko said finish. I want to see Bucky ball finish. And all they got to do to me is take care of 3 teams that are just spiraling the drain. So I'm with you, Roy May. When you say still on board, I haven't even looked for the door. I love Bucky ball. And Roy May also went on, I love smell of napalm in the morning. Smells like victory. Little Apocalypse Now. Love that movie. I think it'd be too trippy for the world right now. But yeah, it's too trippy for then. What am I talking about? Thank you, Roy May. Back to Elko, Bucky, and Maroon and White Universe, what they had to say, things I'm looking at. And yesterday, Mike Elko's new contract went public. Some of the media, Open Records Act. And recently, Elko got it done. 6 years, $69 million, and it's going through the year 2031. If Elko accomplishes his higher order goals, which is win a national championship, this contract will never see 2031. If he makes a Final Four, this contract won't see 2031. Make a Final Four / win a national championship, he'll have a whole new contract. His annual base salary of $11.5 million would have been the fourth highest among college head coaches a year ago. But remember something. We had this insane number of openings at Legacy, LSU, Penn State, Michigan. A lot of coaches last year got fat raises. Bad coaches last year got fat raises to stay where they were. So money got thrown out of whack quite a bit. Coaching salaries went wrong. That's the best way I could put it. Coaching salaries went wrong last year. Now, that 11.5, I'm sure we'll figure it out somewhere in the offseason. Probably a top 10. I don't know if it'll still be fourth highest. I doubt it because of what happened in the coaching carousel. He'll be okay. Top 10. He can make another $1.8 million, I believe it is, in off-season. Just bonus incentives. He can make another 11.8. That's annually in incentives. Now, here is some of the miscellaneous. He can earn a 1-year extension if either 1, he wins 9 or more regular season games, or 2, they make the CFP. If fired without cause, should the Aggies win a national championship during the terms of his contract, Elko would be owed 100% of his annual base salary for the remainder of the agreement. If not, he would be owed 100% of any remaining annual base salary from the effective date of the term. That's too much. These are some of those. If Elko left for another job, he would owe A&M, and just depends on when, $12 million before December 2nd, 2026, $8.5 before December 2nd, 2027, $4 million before December 2nd, 2028. So it just keeps sliding backwards based upon how long he's been here. If he takes an NFL coaching position, $1 million is how much he owes. If A&M athletic director Trev Alberts is fired without cause, it automatically triggers a 50% reduction in the buyout Elko would owe. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. I don't think of that in terms as how it really affects Elko's buyout. That's insurance for Trev. If ever, I don't know, some chancellor board of regent at A&M, and the board of regents at A&M have been known to, just get mad and fire people on a whim. It's happened before. He insulted my horse. He doesn't like my boots. People disappear because. So, if someone of power at A&M wakes up one day and said, Trev didn't come to my birthday party, they now face the understanding of what it means in relation to the football coach, and that's taken seriously at A&M. Because if you fire Trev without cause, 50% reduction in the buyout at Elko. So that's a little, like I said, I don't even see it as what it means for Elko, but that's actually protection for Trev in the story. Finally, the Mike Elko contract, multiple clauses on NIL and revenue sharing, including a semi-annual meeting between Elko and the university, twice a year. Semi-annual is twice a year, right? Fancy terms like that. I don't necessarily have it all written down, but a semi-annual meeting between Elko and the university to determine the dollar amount of direct NIL and revenue sharing institutional payment there will be between the university and the football players. So Elko's new contract That's some of the additional details. 11.5 mil base would have been fourth, fifth highest based upon last year, but we know the coaching carousel went wacky. So what will it mean this year? He's a top 10 paid coach. But again, I don't think he'd ever see to 2031. He makes the college football semifinal, new contract. Win a national championship, new contract. If eventually he does not make it to those, this contract he won't hold it to either. So, yeah. Great contract, well-deserved. I don't think anybody will be fighting on this one. 979-693-1150. That number is very important. You can text that number, but we can talk. You know, if you want to visit, I'm here if you need to talk. We can visit on the D4 Land Services hotline. Sometimes I go, it's time to win. Win now, and you can win on the D4 Land Services hotline. Also, registration from time to time. Like, hey, get registered for tickets too. That would be on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you ever need your land excavated, land cleared, land fixed up, you need to go look at d4landservices.com. d4landservices.com. You know, I got a lot more inside the Maroon and White notebook today on a Tuesday. They're just, for oddly, like, being in between. When Elko and Bucky spoke yesterday, and there was Elko at the spring press conference, 30 minutes, and then Bucky himself too, he was spoke at his Aggie basketball hour. Just a lot of different quotes. There's a lot of different things that stood out to me. So I'm going to grab an early quick timeout. I know I said we were going to do the listen in, but now I'm going to push it a little bit. I do want to talk a little more Aggie football. I want to talk about what Bucky had to say and more. This is the Louie Belina Show, presented by CC Electric. Residential, commercial, and industrial services. That's what they do at CC Electric.
You can get the podcasts of Texans Live, The Louie Belina Show, or Chip Howard at zone1150.com, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Robert Earl King, who will be headlining the Troubadour Festival March 28th, Midtown Park in Bryan. I think I've seen Robert Earl King. The number changes every time because I think I've said before, I've got many years and many beers under my belt. So, yeah, it's hard to remember. I've seen him 8. It could be 11, some number in there. When I was a wee lad, a fish stick, freshman at Texas A&M, Robert Earl played in town, and I've seen him down in Houston. I've seen the Christmas show. I mean, I've seen him at La Lovett. I could see Robert Earl King every time. The problem is I can't see Robert Earl King anymore because his shows are so expensive now. He's a legend. He's no longer, just Robert Earl King of Texas A&M. I mean, he's out there playing with Willie. I can't afford Robert Earl King concerts anymore. Back in the day, I think it was even $15 to go see him in downtown Bryan, or $10? Last time I looked, I think it was last year, I wanted to go see his Christmas show, and I did the math, and it was going to be like over $500 if I took into account gas, some drinks, something to eat, the ticket for the show, and I'm like, I can't do that. So, makes me sad, because I'd still go see him all the time. He's just an incredible show, and he's headlining the Troubadour Barbecue and Music Festival this year. And if you want to look at ticket prices, you want to take a look at the barbecue lineup, the music lineup, go to troubadourfestival.com. Troubadourfestival.com. Oh, Robert Earl King is good drinking, good with your friends kind of music. Back to the Maroon and White notebook. Elko and the spring conference mentioned 13 combine invites. The standard, and the Aggies could have the most players drafted since was it 71? Yeah, I think he said since 1971 is what they're tracking projected for. Well, PFF, Pro Football Focus, did an updated mocking of a draft, and they're high on Cassius Howell. They always have been. Of all the mocking of drafts I look at, they've always had Cassius Howell going the highest. They say 8 New Orleans Saints. I've seen Cassius Howell anywhere from 6 was the highest. 8 seems to be the new highest, all the way to about 28, 26. It's a wide range from top 10 to mid, because 15, Tampa Bay has popped up, Jets at 16. And then Buffalo at 26. That seems to be this Cassius Howell range. But every mock draft has them in the first round, period. KC Concepcion, 26, 27, 26, 27, 26, 27, 26, 27. Like Buffalo or San Fran, there's no chance he would get past them. And PFF has Concepcion going 27. 8 is Howell, 27 Concepcion. 8 is Howell, 27 is Concepcion. And that's your 2 first-round Aggies. Now, the thing I'm starting to enjoy is we're getting deeper. The Combine's going to change everything, by the way. But we're getting deeper into the NFL draft offseason. Well, actually, NFL draft season. This isn't the offseason. This is their season. So we're starting to get 2- and 3-round mocking of drafts. Chase Basantes, top 10 pick in the second round, and it's the New Orleans Saints at 42 taking Chase Basantes, which would mean the Saints take 2 Aggies. First round, Cassius Howell. Second round would be Chase Basantes. But that's it. In their 3-round mock, it's 3 Aggies total, with Howell and Concepcion in the first and Basantes in the second, and not a single third-round pick. And I don't think that is correct. Hey, Lou, who are you to argue with Pro Football Focus? Easy. I'm the guy the show is named after, the Louie Belina Show. That's who I am. That's stupid. Yeah, it is. But I'm going, what I do, just so you'll understand, being a fan of the NFL draft, and I'm a hardcore fan, I'm more about consensus. I look at ESPN and Reed and Yates. I look at CBS. I look at Dane Brugler from The Athletic. I think the rest of the ones on The Athletic are actually really awful, to be fair, but Dane Brugler was doing it way before he was with The Athletic. And then NFL.com has a couple of guys. So there's about 5 or 6. And I use that as my own consensus. I'm not going to sit here and go that NFL teams are calling me up and go, Lou, what do you think we should do? No, doesn't quite go that way. So PFF sticks to their grades. I think it's a unique, but I think it's a little overly unique in relation to reality. I think there'll be more than 3 Aggies in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I would bet money in Vegas there'll be more than 3 Aggies in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I'm thinking that 4 is going to be the minimum and maybe low in the first 2 rounds, to be fair with you. That might be low, but 4 is going to be the minimum in the first 2 rounds because Howell and Concepcion are first-round picks. The only thing that could bump Concepcion out is some kind of positional run where wide receivers just are ignored in the first round this year because another position, unprojected, gets a run. I expect there's going to be a minimum of 2 A&M offensive linemen in the second round. Basantes Zune, Crownover, I've seen him in only 1 mock draft in the second round. When the Aggies go to the Combine in their pro day, all the offensive linemen they're going there to make money. You've heard that expression. He just made himself money. I think all the A&M offensive linemen are in those positions. Remember, it's just one team to convince that one team to take him in round 2. That they're the one. I've seen all 3 of them somewhere in the mock universe. Projected second, some third. I don't think Torian York can get into the second round. Will Lee just seems so far off that his combine stuff would have to be insane. I have no clue where Albert Regis is. I think he could hit third. I've seen Tyler Onyedem at 3. And I think all these names I'm mentioning are going to get drafted. But we're talking about 3-round mocks, and PFF only has 3 where A&M could be 5 in the first 3 rounds or 6. It just seems like that 3 is a whole lot low to me. Where the Aggies could end up with 13 invites and 8, 9, 10 drafted. Even if half of them or more are rounds 5 and 6. It doesn't matter. It's NFL drafted. But 4 in the first 2 rounds, 5 to 6 in the first 3? 8 to 10 total seems to be almost like the draft breakdown. Again, PFF seems a little low. Other highlight names, if you want to, I'm not going to hit every one of them. Cowboys get the linebacker Arvell Reese from Ohio State. They're going to get one of the two. If Sonny Styles doesn't drop to them, and it probably won't at 12, they'll take Arvell Reese. And then the Cowboys, with their other selection, they will take any cornerback on the board. I've seen every mock draft go with that. But I guarantee you they're going to butcher that one. And the Houston Texans, every single mock draft I've ever seen, have them taking offensive lineman and generally a tackle, which means there's no chance they will because the Texans have never taken an O-lineman in the first round. Even if I'm wrong, I still won't believe you. They just ignore that every year, and they wish upon a star when it comes to offensive line, which has not been effective in the entire history of the franchise. It hasn't played out. One last football note to share, move. It's the whole offseason of college football where top 25 team insert here, breakout player, best player selected portal, all that kind of stuff, right? And A&M is, they're 8 in everything. And I saw an ESPN did, top portal edition for every top 25 team. That's what it was. And they had A&M at 10. I didn't know that. A&M's consensus 8. And it's really easy for most teams. Like Indiana, Josh Hoover, quarterback TCU. Texas Longhorns got Cam Coleman, the Auburn wide receiver. I think, in baseball, you have WAR, wins against replacement. And some players equal straight up wins. Cam Coleman bought the Longhorns an extra win. If you thought they were a 9-3 team, I think when they added Ken Coleman, they became a 10-2 team. If they were 8-4, when they added Ken Coleman, they became 9-3. I do think he's that kind of an impact player. And if you want to go, well, why didn't he do that at Auburn? Did you see his quarterback? You could have gave them Larry Fitzgerald in his Heisman Trophy year. Randy Moss with Larry Fitzgerald. Think of any college football wide receiver that was the greatest of all time. And it would not have mattered with the quarterback play and the ancient offenses they were running at Auburn. But you give them March Manning and the offense they're running with Sark, I think the day they added Cam Coleman, they went +1 in the win column. Like, maybe they could have beat Florida this year if they had Cam Coleman. So bad, right? Okay, back to, a lot of and there weren't that many names like that. Again, did Josh Hoover, how can you add a win to 12-0 if you're Indiana? Texas Tech, we watched them. We watched their playoff game, and it was horrific, wasn't it? Just how obvious that it was a donut. The hole in the dead middle of the whole team organization, everything they built was quarterback. I mean, they had everything. That defense was so elite and so fun to watch. Yet they pulled a Hugh Freeze. They didn't think they needed a quarterback. They got the number 1 quarterback in the portal, Brendan Sorsby. Hey, what's he going to do at the next level? And you still got to prove it. So I'm not as ready to just hand over, but they got the number. You can't do better than that. A&M, I think it'd be an easy one. Who was the top portal addition for the Aggies in the portal cycle? And I think it's easy. I hope in the end, the top portal addition ends up being the end from Northwestern. Because if he ends up being Cassius Howell, good times are ahead. You want first-team All-American edge. You got to be able to stop the quarterback, and you need a quarterback, right? That's how you win championships. Football simple. But it's Isaiah Horton, the wide receiver from Alabama. He's a bad, bad man. That was a phenomenal addition. That was a steal. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. And when we return, I'm going to register one person. You'll be today's entry into winning a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And every day this week, every day next week, we'll enter people. Sometimes you'll text, sometimes you'll call, and we'll enter people to have a chance. We'll register one person per day to win tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, thanks to Grocholski Sausage Company and Grocholski Sausage. They have 2 locations now. It's easy. It's like if you drive into a town and you go to Main Street, there might be a Grocholski Sausage Company on it because their OG original location is South Main Street in Bremont, and the new location is South Main Street in Calvert. I'll be right back. It's the Louie Belina Show, Tuesday on The Zone.
Home, on the road, or Omaha. You can hear Aggie baseball on The Zone.
The Louie Belina Show. Hi, hello, and welcome. Presented by CC Electric. Free estimates? They do. Military and veteran discounts? They have at CC Electric. Something I would like to do, and we're going to be doing this every day this week. We're going to be doing it every day next week. And see, on the Louie Belina Show, I always say participation is rewarded. Whether you're texting in or you're just listening in, and I always love to send you to all the different places you want to go. We call it the ticket booth. The ticket booth. It's thanks to Dixie Tire Company, family-owned Dixie Tire Company. They're your authorized Mastercraft and Cooper tire dealer. Dixie Tire Company's been serving Bryan College Station for over like 36 years now. They're open Monday through Friday till 6, Saturday till 1, and you can always give them a call if you have a question. 775-TIRE, and yeah, you heard right, Tire, T-I-R-E, and I have tickets to the Troubadour, and we've had tickets to Aggie football and then Aggie baseball, and it's just tickets to Aggie. I think we had tickets to Aggie soccer, Aggie volleyball, Aggie softball. We just have tickets to all the places you want to be. The ticket booth is thanks to Dixie Tire Company. Currently, every day this week, every day next week, we're going to register people, 1 person per day, to win a pair of tickets. Oh, yeah. To go see Creed. Let them take you higher with arms wide open to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's a good time, right? Caller 5 right now. Caller 5, 979-693-1150. Caller number 5, you'll be registered today. But guess what? I'm in a good mood. I'm about to say that, Riley. And caller 6. Yes, 2 people today. My former producer, Riley, this is awesome, is outside at the blackjack table training my future producer, Jeanette. Hey, Jeanette, do you go by Jeanette or do you go by Jean or do you have some random nickname like Space Bob? Is there anything I need to know? You go by Jeanette. Okay. So my former producer, Riley, who's an infomaniac over on News Talk 1620, 94.5, is training my future producer, Jeanette, out there today. And Riley was like... She was doing her job. She was reminding me, caller 6, caller 6. It was good stuff. So caller 5 and caller 6 each, you will be registered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Oh, and it's all thanks to Grocholski Sausage Company. They are artisans of homemade smoked meat products and custom processing since 1952. They've been at it for a long time, and they're doing homemade recipes like Polish, old school, original since 1952. Call now, 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150. Good luck. And every day, if you're not lucky enough to be caller 5 and 6 right now, every day, we'll register another person this week and next week. Thank you, Grocholski Sausage Company. Okay, we barely got like a minute left here in our lunch hour, so I'll go to the lifestyles portion of the Louie Belina Show. This one, 42% of people never answer calls from numbers they don't recognize. I wish I could say never. I'm kind of basic and stupid. I have answered numbers I don't recognize if it doesn't say spam risk. So if the survey said never answered spam risk, I've never answered spam risk on the old iPhone, right? But I've answered numbers I don't recognize. I have sat there at my desk, bored. I sat on my couch, bored. And I've answered it going, let's give it a shot. I've answered it going, you know what? I'm bored. This could be entertaining. It never is. And then I can go another 6 months without answering it. So I I have answered the phone for a number I don't recognize, but it's truly sometimes out of pure boredom, and you never know, a quick laugh or something. But I've never answered a spam risk. That's all the warning I need to know. But yeah, there was a new poll out, and 42% of people said, are you never, ever, ever, if you don't recognize a number ever?